Are you leaving your clients vulnerable to cyber threats? In today's digital world, protecting your clients' sensitive information is just as important as closing a deal. Let's dive into the essential cybersecurity tips every realtor must know to safeguard their business and their clients' trust. So, why are we bringing this up? Well, this is September, and one of the things I want to make sure we understand for NAR, anyways, it's Security Month, and we're going to talk security. But I am a digital guy; I'm a technology person. I thought it'd be extremely important for us to hit on the cyber risks that are there every day that's going on. It is growing exponentially. One of the things I find extremely fascinating about this particular topic is I have been in a lot of AI conversations over the last almost 2 years. And what we seem to forget, though, is while it makes it good and easy for us good guys to do our work, be more efficient, be more productive, improve whatever we're trying to improve, it does the same for the bad guys, right? It makes them write better emails. It makes them build better programs. It is doing the same thing for them that it is doing for us. So we have to be extremely much more diligent than we ever have had to be in past lives. Just to give you some ideas of what's going on in this world so you kind of understand what's happening here is we will see in here, we will see in here that we have, there we go. We have ransomware attacks. They have increased to over 72% of our cybersecurity risk in 2023. We haven't even had 2024 numbers yet. Phishing scams represent almost 40% of all our email threats that are out there. And then business email compromise is one of the biggest growing ones out there, I think personally, which is 19% of all our breaches, causing just short of $2 million in 2021. In 2023, it was almost $3 billion. So the reason I bring this up is these all are challenging. And in case you do not know what business email compromise is, those are those very unique emails that happen out there. Folks like celebrities that have been out there have been caught by this because their company sends an email saying we need to transfer these funds for this business arrangement, and they do it because it looks so real. For us in real estate, it's our offices. If we're leadership, it may be part of our associations. We run into these business email compromise because we don't take a secondary look and read through them. So it's something that we definitely want to be very cognizant of as far as this goes on. Now, let's talk about some of the biggest ones out there today. We have ransomware, and we kind of talked about that earlier as far as this goes. You have ransomware is essentially the backbone about most of these, right? They come in, they hack your system for various ways. Phishing is one of them. We'll talk about that here in a second. But you have a ransomware. So now they've hacked into your system. They have added software into your computer, your servers, whatever. If you have smart homes, your smart home devices. And they have now said, we're locking you out until you pay us X amount of dollars. And the thing is they are strategically smart enough to know what that pain point is. They're not going to ask too much. You're going to say, forget it. They're going to do it to a point where the money makes more sense than the effort at hand, trying to cause you to say yes. So that is what ransomware is. Now, how do they get through doing it? A lot of times there are essentially a couple ways that come in here. One of them is kind of considered like more like a drive-by hacking, where they will load in software, whether you clicked on a web link that you shouldn't have, you went to a set website you shouldn't have, or phishing scams. And phishing scams are probably the biggest ones out there. Phishing scams are a strategy that you see in place today where they send you an email, kind of like business email compromise, but just a lot more generic these days. Hey, your password's been compromised. Please click on this bank link to change your password. I want to make an offer on XYZ property. Please click here. And you click on the links, right? It's simple links, simple things that come in place that we're having this work inside this area. And you click on it because we are too busy. We don't scrutinize. We don't self-detect. We don't do the various things that come into place as far as that phishing scam goes. Another one is becoming, I think, more and more prevalent, and that is identity theft, right? So identity theft is one of these situations where they steal your identity. Either they get your social security information, they get your credit cards, they create bogus accounts on your behalf, and it happens. I'm also going to say all of these are controlled a lot more by AI, right? AI is going to help phishing emails become harder to decipher if it's real or not, right? English will be better written on these. You will have this in place that you can make sure it's for them anyways, harder to do. We have to do other things in there. Ransomware attack, same thing, is going to be more challenging. But identity theft, I think, is going to be interesting. And not so much identity theft per se, where they're stealing our background information, where they're literally stealing our faces, right? There is deep fakes that are out there, whether they're taking your face, your voice, whatever, and making people think it's yours. So now they can get more information. Someone like myself is probably going to be a little more at hand at this, but if you have social media accounts where you're talking, video, stuff like that, it's easy to extract that information and then emulate you in certain ways. So you want to be very cautious. These are just some of the common. There are way more threats that are out there in place that come into play. So how can you protect against this? And I'm going to give you just a couple ones today. This is a short topic for today. There are lots of ways we can delve into this conversation in a much stronger and better way. And if you guys do want these conversations, please feel free to reach out to me. And I'm happy to come to various locations and specifically talk about this. But I think first place, passwords. Using Mickey Mouse 123, 12345 12345 789. These are not good passwords. Password is not a good password. I joke, but they are still used a lot of times. So using complicated passwords. Now, if you're going to use complicated passwords, I understand it's hard to write, hard to remember. You got to have some sort of system. I recommend password managers that you can use. I like tools. I used to like LastPass. LastPass is still okay. They didn't handle the last breach they had. Everybody gets breached, by the way, so that's not the biggest challenge here. But you want to find ones out there. I go now. You got OnePass, LastPass. You've got Google. You got a Google Password Manager. You've got different ones you can use. Find the one that makes sense to you. I like right now a tool called Bitwarden. I like it because it's cloud-based, it's secure, and they have various protocols in place. They're not going to get a lot of information if they actually do hack it currently. So I like that one. That helps me just keep one password and I can use the rest. I also like tools, like I mentioned, because they're cloud-based, and that means I can use them across platforms. I don't have to worry about it. Is it the most secure? If you go to the cloud, no, it's not the most secure. Paper and pencil, maybe. Internal devices, yes, right? Things like that are going to be more secure. I'm also going to recommend two-factor or multi-factor authentications. When you're in here talking about this, you do want to make sure you are staying in a focus. Two-factor authentication a lot of times is your bank does a lot of this right now, right? Or even Facebook, and I use Gmail, so they do it. Anytime I log in a new account, I get a text message verification. Is this you? Yes or no, whatever, right? I get that. That's that kind of two-factor. Multi-factor authentication is going to go a little deeper than that, but those are what you're going to have in place. There are just secure keys essentially that happen in there. If you go a little bit further than that, I like passkeys in place, right? You're seeing more and more of that. Passkeys are typically biometric strategies, eye, face, fingerprints, stuff like that. Most telephone devices, mobile devices are using some sort of that stuff these days to help encrypt that conversation. And then speaking of crypt, you're going to want to have some sort of encryption services, whether it's your email or some sort of messaging apps, WhatsApp, Telegram. Tools like that you have in place are going to be a very solid way of protecting yourself in these manners. Another thing that I want you guys to make sure that you are doing at all times is updating, right? Make sure your PC, your apps, your phone are being updated. Do not wait on those things. Don't wait until you get a new phone, because most of the patches, in fairness, these days are going to be security updates, right? There are going to be systems updates that help keep your device, your applications, your stuff more secure. You can use antivirus softwares. Those are fine. I'll be honest with you. You got to be very cautious. Antivirus gives us a false sense of security. Antivirus softwares, while they are good, they aren't perfect, right? Because they don't build the patch until the vulnerability is discovered. Then it's too late, right? So bottom line with this is be your own best ally in this. I don't really personally use antivirus. I do have buddies and systems, we're going to talk about a little bit later, that I help clean up and do things, but it's mostly my due diligence that I work in here. And then always do make sure, as far as devices go, that you secure your internet, your profiles, whatever that is. You need to make sure that stuff is secure so they can't get into your networks. Also, as far as devices go, I would recommend having a VPN on your device. You can download software like Norton, Surfshark, tools like that will update that stuff. Do make sure when you are handling your client's documents, even your own, that you're using some sort of secure platform. You got tools like DocuSign, .loop that are really good for helping do that in place. They are secure. They are cloud-based, but they are secure. That is their bread and butter. So they are making sure you're doing that. You could use other storage solutions out there. You got Google Drive, OneDrive, all the iCloud. They are there. They're not always secure. They're not always backed up, but they are more secure than others. So that's always good. And I would recommend shredding things as well. But going back to storage, I'm going to tell you one of the things I want you to make sure you do in here is cloud backup, right? Use some sort of cloud backup, whether it's tools like Carbonite or it's other based ones that are out there. There's a ton. I'm just trying to pull one up here real quick to remember what the name of it is. But you have these tools and they'll back up your devices. That way, when there is ransomware, it's okay. iDrive is what I was thinking of, by the way. You can back this up and have this in place. Also, I'm going to tell you, one of my best recommendations at all times for us to do this and work inside this environment is to make sure you are using, we, the people, we are probably some of the best strategies out there. So make sure you are using common sense, practical experience, and practices in place to make sure you're making good decisions. If an email comes out that you didn't ask for, don't go clicking on it. Do some research, right? And that's the same thing you want to educate your clients. The other thing I'm going to tell you is we're going back to when we were little kids. Have those passcodes, your clients, and don't email to your clients, talk to them, whatever. Don't be saying this over digital solutions, but have that passcode. That way, when you say rutabaga, now they know it's real, right? And that goes for your clients, that goes for you, that goes for any third-party services that are working with to getting this done. So just something I want you to be aware of. Again, I mentioned a lot of tools specifically in here. You will see them in the comments below. Hopefully that will help you get out there. This was an extremely short, quick, biteable chunks. I do want to make sure you guys understand the threats of ransomware, phishing, deep fakes in the world today because it's becoming relevant. Also, please understand, use the good tools and sound practices. Use yourself, your good decision-making skills that you have in place. Don't work too fast. Be intentional. Use password solutions, password managers. Make sure you're encrypting your conversations. Make sure you are educating your clients as well as doing two-factor authentications. This is going to make things harder. I'm going to end on this because I think it does help do this. There is no such thing as perfect protection, but you can make yourself more challenging to the other people that they go somewhere else. So the joke I always say on this is there's a camping joke that's always been told where two campers are in a tent. They come out of the tent, they stand up, and they see a big, mean bear right in front of them. That mean bear gets on the two legs. It's getting ready to attack. And one of the campers slowly gets down and starts tying their shoes. The other camper goes, dude, what are you doing? You're not going to outrun a bear. He goes, I don't got to outrun the bear. I just got to outrun you. That's all we're trying to do for you today. Make sure you are the one faster than everybody else, tougher and more challenging. If you do have any questions, please write them in the chat box. I want to hear them. If you have answers or other solutions, I love to hear this. There are so many strategies in place. I'd love to hear what you have to say. With all that, have a great day. See you at the next training.